What is up, everybody? It is Alex from Heavy New York. We are at Ever Black Tattoo Studio and Gotham Tattoo Removal, and today we are here with Tim of Bloodthrone. It is so great to be able to talk with you. Thanks for coming on today, man.
Dude, thanks for having me. I'm pumped.
Yeah, it's pumped to finally be able to talk with you. The Bloodthrone is an amazing, amazing band. Congratulations. It's so
Thank
great
you.
to see you back behind the mic again and really just delivering such powerful, powerful music. So it's great to see you.
Thank you,
doing
man.
this.
Yeah, I'm pumped to be back. I feel like I have a piece of myself back, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, with the songs that we've heard so far from Bloodthrone, such as Crawl and Wronged, as well as The Serpent, which features Kevin Muller, is this maybe like a good representation of what future Bloodthrone music is going to sound like, what like a full-length record is going to sound like, or is this still kind of like getting your feet wet and sort of like testing the waters?
A little bit of both. We're definitely experimenting a little bit more with the sound we want to make with going forward, because we're writing for an EP right now. We have 2 songs tracked, mixed, ready to go. I think they're tracking guitars for a 3rd song today, actually. So,
Oh, hell yeah.
The singles that we put out are basically like a foundation for what's to come.
Yeah.
And we don't really put limits on ourselves as far as like what the sound is going to sound like. So
With the formation of the band, was it because, it's a super group, Bloodthrone, you know, given your history within the Ruins and Josh coming from the Machinist and 75 other bands as well, but also members of Gargoyle and whatnot. Were you all kind of like trying to combine your previous experiences into one project and create like a hybrid in that regard? Or were you all kind of like trying to step into uncharted territory that hasn't been explored yet?
I think we were just trying to do something new that we maybe haven't done before in our prior projects. Just really with a black metal base, and then kind of went from there. Josh always says we're black metal with fight riffs.
Black metal with fight, so like Blackened Fight Club or something like that?
Yeah, just like, we put like the slam riffs in there with the black metal stuff, and then there's also a lot of death metal influence too. So
yeah, I could see that, because like I see like classic, Cannibal Corpse, like Suffocation, Immolation, like death metal sounds in it, but I even see some remnants of like, from slam and some deathcore elements.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say that you guys aren't trying to really stick to one thing. There's plenty of willingness to experiment, right?
Yeah, exactly. But you don't want to pigeonhole yourself into one specific genre, so it's better to just leave the horizons as broad as possible. That way, when if we come out of left field with something, it's not like a shock. It's kind of like, oh well, they said they were going to do that anyway, so it's all good.
Given your history within the Ruins, were you kind of going? Is there at all a similar creative mindset that you had within this? Like, did it feel like you're recording albums such as Elite or Phenomena again, or were you kind of like? Did this almost feel like a completely clean slate in a way? Like, did it almost feel like a completely different creative mindset?
Definitely a clean slate, because the writing process is a lot different with this band. With Ruins, Joe Kochi, our guitar player, was the main songwriter. So he would pretty much send me, 80% finished demos, just him, programming drums and sending me riffs and stuff. As to where Bloodthrone, like I go to, Josh's or Mike's house and sit down with them and like rap on ideas on like how to structure a song, and like just kind of like pantomiming riffs and drums and stuff, and then kind of like piecing things together. I said that right. Together, yeah. Piecing things together as a unit, as opposed to like just one person kind of writing everything.
Yeah. I've never had a chance to really, in all the years talking to you, talk about like your process for writing lyrics in a way. Like, first off, have you always preferred to have music before writing lyrics, or has there ever been a time, whether with Bloodthrone or with Ruins or whatever, that maybe a lyrical idea or a concept maybe helped dictate the music itself?
Yeah, I usually have like little one-liners that I'll think of just randomly throughout the day, and I'll put them down on my notepad on my phone. But I usually don't write a full song until I hear the music.
Okay.
Because I need to hear like what the vibe is before I kind of go for it.
Does it resonate? Does it have to? Is there almost a requirement to achieve that vibe, or could it vibe with you differently in a way?
What do you mean?
Can different vibes lead to different outcomes, I guess you could say?
Yeah, definitely. Especially if I have like a cool one-liner idea and then build off of it, and then like the vibe of the song will take it in another direction. That's why I kind of like to hear the song first, because I don't want to have like put all my effort into writing a bunch of lyrics and then scrap it all because it doesn't fit, you know?
One question I've been asking a lot of vocalists is could the energy that you channel into it or the catharsis that could come from it, can that feel differently depending on what the song is about, if it's more coming from an internal source of inspiration versus like an external source?
Yeah, I noticed that a lot, you know, years and years of doing this. I find that writing from a personal aspect is, you know, you get a little bit more of a raw emotion when you're tracking everything, and definitely brings a different vibe to the song as to where, like, you know, I wrote a song about vampires on the upcoming EP, and I'm not really emotionally attached to the subject, but it's, you know, I kind of, when the delivery of it, I kind of focus on more like theatrics as opposed to like raw emotion. You know?
The last music video that you put out, which features Megan, who's
Yes.
over there, but like that was incredible. Like I felt like it was like a music video almost directed by like Caravaggio in a way or something like that, and it was very, very like baroque and very breathtaking and really beautiful. I mean, do you feel that maybe with Bloodthrone that you're almost kind of like not just trying to create an album or an EP, but you're maybe trying to build sort of like an atmosphere or kind of like a setting, if you will?
I would say that it's definitely I would say that we're kind of not setting ourselves apart from, you know, we're not reinventing the wheel by any means, but like as far as the music that we're writing, kind of setting up like we keep using the word vibe, but
Hey,
vibe just kind of like an overall thing that, you know, when you hear it, you can automatically tell that it's us for sure.
In order to get like the creative energy to write lyrics or think of vocal patterns and whatnot, do ideas just kind of come out of the blue in a way for you, or do you kind of have like a usual place that you go to in order to cultivate ideas?
A little bit of both. Sometimes, like I said, it'll just hit me randomly, and I'll be like, oh, that sounds sick as fuck. I'll jot that down. Or sometimes I'll have to sit for, you know, a week or two just roughing out ideas, and sometimes none of it's good. I scrap it. And then sometimes it'll come out of me in like an hour, and I'll have a full song written. So
those are always good, right?
Yeah, I love that.
Because I've also had like because if you work on a song for like a long period of time, do you find it maybe like it makes it harder and harder to sort of maintain that initial spark of the idea?
Yeah, especially with this band, because this is like the most like pre-production and demoing that I've ever done. Usually with Ruins, we're on tour all the time, so it's kind of hard to keep up with the tour schedule and do pre-production and then record the record and have like, you know, have that much time to kind of fine tune the song. Whereas now it's like, you know, Crawl and all these songs we spent like months on. So it's been cool to kind of like fine tune everything and make it as sick as possible.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and it's definitely sick as possible. And we're gonna be seeing the debut Bloodthrone live show very soon with Oceano and Within the Ruins.
Within the Ruins, yeah.
So first off, I mean, this is your first live performance, I think, since your last gig Within the Ruins at Kingsland or something like that,
in
right?
Brooklyn, which is super ironic.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
how poetic. I mean, did it is performing? Is it almost kind of like that riding a bike you never forget, or was there a lot of relearning in a way?
I'll let you know after the show.
Maybe I should have waited to ask that one.
Yeah, I mean, like over the past, it's been like 6 years since I played a full set. I've hopped up on stage and done like guest spots with homies and stuff, but this is the first time I'm doing a full set in 6 years. So I've definitely been, you know, hitting the gym a little harder and trying to get my cardio game up. So I don't want to be winded as fuck after 3 songs, you know?
Yeah.
But I'm pumped. I think it's going to be like riding a bike, like Welcome Home kind of thing for me.
I definitely want to like film you after the set, like coming back and answering this question.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, Within the Ruins, I mean, forgive me for asking, but is there a chance maybe you could hop up on stage for whole time's sake and
Maybe.
And we can move on from
Maybe.
that. There was actually, though, a Within the Ruins question that I did want to ask, just because last year marked 10 years of Elite, and this year marks 10 years of Phenomena.
Right.
And first off, being that those albums were written within a year of each other, I mean, just that had to have been a non-stop creative spree, right?
Yeah, that was an interesting time to be in the band because that's when we started to pop off. and it was a really exciting time to be in the band because we were getting on sick tours, sold out crowds every night. We're doing the thing that everyone wants to achieve being in a band. So when we released Elite, we were touring on it, and then the label was like, "Hey, let's strike while the iron's hot. Let's put out another record." We were like, "Fuck, all right." Yeah. And Phenomena came out, and that's it's kind of funny because like Elite was, I guess, critically acclaimed, quote unquote, for the time, and when everyone got when they were doing a new record so soon, they were like, "I don't know if they could top that," and we were like, "Well, get ready."
And I mean, Phenomena was how I discovered Within the Ruins, because the first time I heard of Within the Ruins or really like check you guys out is when you were announced for Summer Slaughter 2014, which was 10 years ago. Can you believe?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I mean, with Morbid Angel, let's see if I can remember the lineup. Morbid Angel, Dying Fetus, Goat Whore, Thy Art is Murder, The Faceless, you guys, Cerebral Bore, Origin. I'm missing one.
Fallujah.
And I fucking love Fallujah. So sorry, Scott, if you're watching this. But yeah, that's a fantastic lineup. Any memories on that? I didn't go to the show, sadly, but I think Irving Plaza was the New York date at that time.
Yeah. A ton of blurred memories, man. We hung out with every single band on that tour really hard. Became kind of close with the Goat Whore guys. They would, we had a Diesel van at the time, so they would come over and drink beers with us and talk about Diesel and that was the first tour. I think it's the first tour we ever did with Fallujah, and ironically, like Alex lives here and he's a very close friend of mine. So that's the kind of the start of that friendship. So
that Summer Slaughter is the start of many friendships. Yeah. Like I'm willing to bet that there's a lot of children that now exist because of Summer Slaughter.
Yeah.
And it's coming back this year too. So
yeah, I'm intrigued to see who is on it.
Yeah, I hope Bloodthrone is on it this year. Now, when it comes to playing live, though, because I feel like with especially within your genre, there is almost like a stage presence in a way where like I feel like there's an art to performing live in this death metal slam style that we have. Is crowd interaction and stage presence, is that really something you could practice or something you can rehearse, or do you just have to kind of like let things take hold?
Yeah, I think that's something that you need to do just by playing live. I always, when I write a song, I always have like little mental notes of like, oh, there should be a crowd call here or a mosh call here, and like you kind of don't know how it's going to go until you're doing it, because sometimes I've done crowd calls and they have not worked out. It's just like, all right, don't do that again. That's not going to work.
Yeah, it's trial and error.
Yeah,
trial
absolutely,
and error.
Absolutely.
And if you're a band like Archspire, you could just make people play Twister in the pit.
Yeah, so. I saw that. That was
only that band.
Kudos to them. That was fucking awesome.
Yep. How do you know when you're finished with a song?
That's a good question. Because that goes, I'll quote Lars Ulrich, is like, is a song ever finished?
Yeah. I don't think he was the one who even came up with that.
Yeah, because like, even with this band, like we're gonna start playing songs live, and you do things differently than you would recording. So then you're gonna be like, oh fuck, I should have done this, and kind of alter things that way. But yeah, the song's never finished really.
Fair enough.
I mean, that's why they have reissues and re-recorded versions of older albums and stuff.
Which I kind of like, because I was having a discussion with a band about this, where like they've said like, I prefer to listen to this is them speaking, saying like, I prefer to listen to newer metal bands, whether it will be Avenged Sevenfold or Volbeat or Gojira or something like that, because it's better produced than what we would hear off of like an old school Sabbath or Priest or something like that. I think those reissues kind of accommodate to the good production sound that a modern generation.
I agree.
Yeah, that is accommodated too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. In terms of your inspirations, which I know is a very cliche question to ask, but vocal inspirations, were you taking inspiration from a lot of death metal bands, or were you kind of maybe looking at other vocalists?
I mean, growing up, it was always, I've said this before, Corey Taylor and Phil Anselmo are like my top two.
Hell yeah.
Everyone after that, it's kind of like you kind of like take little things from each different kind of genre. Like I would say like Nate Johnson is a huge influence on me. Even more recently, like Alex Terrible, he's a fucking beast.
Oh, shout out to Slaughter to Prevail.
Like that's something that I try to emulate, especially with my lows and stuff. So yeah, just kind of like taking a little bit from different people and putting my own spin on it.
And the final question I wanted to ask you is, and correct me if I'm wrong in a way, but being that Within the Ruins was a band that formed in Boston or in the
Western
Massachusetts. I forgot Boston's not the only area of Massachusetts. But now you're forming a band here in New York. I'm just curious, because I've seen you at almost, if there's a death metal show or a slam show, I could expect to see you
I'm
there.
usually there.
Yeah, so like, I mean, with forming a band in New York City at a different time in a different scene, I mean, how has the New York City, what is your take overall on the New York City scene and where it's been going lately?
Yeah, I fucking love it, dude. It's thriving right now. It's at a point where, you know, Duff's isn't the only metal bar, you know, and there's not even bars that are like proclaimed to be metal bars, but you can go to a handful of different places and there's metalheads hanging out, whether it be like, you know, I see a lot of bolt thrower shirts walking around and stuff like that, but you know, it's a very diverse, I guess, group of people that like heavy music here, and it's shown because every time you go to a show, it's usually packed out, no matter what the band is.
Bolt thrower is the new Possessed in a way, where I say like every denim vest has that Possessed patch on it, and Bolt thrower is now like everybody in Brooklyn, whether they listen to the band or not, has a Bolt thrower shirt.
I've liked Bolt thrower since I was fucking in high school, dude.
Yeah, and they broke up when I was in high school, I believe. So, but before we go, I want to thank you so much for your time, and most of all, thank you for giving us this awesome music. It's so good to see you performing again. Is there just anything else with Bloodthrone you'd like to promote in terms of, you got the show coming up with Oceano and Within the Ruins,
April 13th?
Yep, April 13th at the Meadows. Be sure to be there. Is there just what else we could be expecting in terms of, could we be expecting touring anytime soon, or
not extensive. So I think we're going to start doing like some regional touring starting this summer. We'll just do like, you know, little 4 or 5 day bangers, probably in the Northeast, maybe go down south a little bit. That remains to be seen. By the time this comes out, when is this coming out?
Probably by next week.
Okay, I can say this then. So we're doing a headliner at the Meadows June 7th.
Oh, hell yeah.
Ender from New Jersey is support. This band Lee from Westchester. Latalis from here.
Oh, hell yeah. Shout out to Latalis.
And a band called Cortisol is on it as well.
Oh, awesome.
So yeah, it'll be June 7th at the Meadows. And I think our EP should be ready by then. We're going to do our best to get it, you know, completed. But no promises. Because we're DIY as fuck, so you know how that goes.
That should be on your T-shirt.
Yeah,
we are Bloodthrone. We are DIY as fuck.
Hell yeah, yeah. We write everything. We record everything in house. My drummer James mixes and masters everything. So,
wow,
yeah,
it's
all in house.
That's awesome. Now all you need to do is have your own venue, and then everything.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Thank you so much, everybody. We are here with Tim of Bloodthrone. If you haven't already, check out their newest singles, "Wronged," "Crawled," and "The Serpent," featuring Kevin Muller. New stuff coming very soon. We will see you next time on Heavy New York.
Peace out.